Hey, it's been quite some time since the last train survival devlog or really any video on this channel. I hope some of you are still here because I've got some good news or at least a big hope of continuing to post videos here. I'll come back to that later in the video, but first I think it's worth taking a moment to talk about what's been going on in my life and why the videos stopped coming out. I was always worried about the retention rates and that the topics like this would not interest the audience, so I was pushing back this video for a long time. But we're going to do things differently today and I really want to take time to talk about some stuff that's been happening behind the scenes. There were a lot of questions during these months about the future of the games or simply where I've been, so I'll try to answer some of those here. The very short answer to why I've stopped posting new videos is simply because I got a job as a game developer. At the time of making train survival videos, I was around 2 years into spending my savings and was pretty close to a $0 bank account. The current revenue from YouTube was very little to cover any of my bills, and the game would take months if not years to start generating any income. So the decision was made to find a temporary job while still working on growing the channel. At first I had very little time for myself while I was trying to adjust to working with others and finding my place in the company, but then having less available time was not the only reason the videos stopped coming out. See, the game I was making was a weird combination of survival and adventure genres, which ended up contradicting each other, and I couldn't figure out in which direction to go. The survival and crafting aspects were what people wanted to see and what I also thought the game should focus on, but fitting that together with a full storyline and 1 hour playtime limit turned out to be very difficult without rushing one part or the other. I spent many days just opening the project and staring at it for hours trying to come up with a solution, but eventually I had to put it on the shelf. I still believe it can turn into a really cool game, but a lot would need to change for that to happen, and I'm not sure in which direction. I'm glad I went through that whole experience though, because it taught me a lot and was ultimately the main reason I got the job. To fill in the gaps of becoming better at designing games, I started playing different genres, reading books about game design, and most importantly watching other people play. This went on for about a month until a new idea hit me. What if I made a game specifically for a popular streamer and somehow got him to play it? The target was chosen to be Asmongold, a streamer with a massive following known for his MMO streams back in the day, but most importantly I chose him for the viral videos where he cooked $1 steak and pizza.
That is
No cursing on my channel, bro.
sorry. That's
The idea for the game was fairly simple. Balance between streaming to your followers to manage their anger and cooking food to yourself to eat. Fail at one of those and you lose. The cool part was I took a lot of references from Asmon's streams and videos, and the way you cook in the game is almost exactly how he does it in real life. Feeling confident about the new idea, I figured I'd just make the whole game in one sitting and then drop a big video, hoping it would catch Asmon's eye and he'd give it a try. I'm starting working on the game, and the next 6 months was basically split between my job and working on the game. Little by little, the prototype grew into a full game, and I even considered releasing it on Steam. 6 months in, I was basically done and was making the final touches polishing the game when an accident happened. See, all this time I was keeping the project secret, and I didn't even let my friends playtest it. And when I did, let's say I was very confused with the feedback. It wasn't like someone told me the game was crap or there was something making the game unplayable, but I simply noticed no one wanted to play it for more than 5 minutes. It turned out the game was very punishing over time, and even a small mistake could lose you a lot of progress. Forget to put the last meal in the microwave or overcook something in the last seconds and you're basically screwed. As you can tell, since I never released the video, I couldn't fix all the issues, and there were of course other problems besides that one. The worst part? Looking back, I was getting frustrated with it myself, though at the time I wasn't seeing the problem and I just thought it was because I'd played the same level a million times. Maybe someday I'll figure out a solution, but if you're curious to try it yourself, the game is available to play on itch. It's been a couple of months since I left the Asmon project, and my days now consist of mainly working at my job while gradually starting to prepare for one of the most important days of my life. Or maybe the most, I don't know, probably the most. It's crazy that I never mentioned her in any of my videos because we've been together long before this channel even existed. But yeah, she's been a huge part of my life and it was finally time to take that next step. So yeah, boy did what had to be done and she said yes. Right after that, a whole chain of events started, and honestly I was barely ready for how fast everything started moving. We're suddenly taking out the mortgage for our first apartment, looking for a temporary place to stay while it's being built, and on top of that there is all the wedding planning keeping us busy every single day. What started as a small wedding quickly turned into a 200-person celebration, and since my girlfriend was busy with her graduation, I had to handle almost all of the planning. It'd been an intense few weeks leading up to the wedding, but when the day came, everything just clicked into place and we just had our best time. Moving out right after meant a completely new chapter in our lives. Actually, a new chapter for 3 of us. Please welcome the pesto. Her name's Thea, or as I call her, Pridurek. After a long period, I finally had time I could spend on myself, thinking about future plans, or just work on random stuff without rushing. In Armenia, when couples get married, the wife usually brings few things from her family for the new home. We call it ojit. Well, my wife's ojit was this Chevy Volt that runs on electricity and gas. But since we don't have a garage here, charging it is a bit of a problem. Sure, we could just stick to gas, but it feels like wasting money knowing that driving on electricity costs about 4 times less. I've been trying to get better with finances lately, especially now that we have so many monthly expenses. So this feels like an easy place to save some. I know this is not the most elegant solution, but it does the job for now. I was a bit worried not to bother the neighbors below, but fortunately for them my evil plan didn't last. Charging the car on that day was its first and last time, as the very next day I got a call saying that someone crashed into my parked car. Turns out someone was actually a boss, and we don't have a car anymore. Running ahead, we did end up getting another, which is not ready yet, I'll show it in another video, but let's just say this cable isn't retiring anytime soon. For the past year or so, I've been working from my parents' house, and yeah, this was my desk setup, if you can even call it a setup. As you can tell, I was desperately waiting to move out and make some upgrades to it. But at the same time, I didn't want to go full in, as it was also going to be something temporary until our apartment is ready in a year or so. Or at least I've tried to put less effort making the desk. Let's say I've done the bare minimum I could do here. So this is it. This is my working place for at least a year, and I'm very happy how it turned out. It's hard to compress the last 2 years of your life into a 10-minute video, but I'm glad I finally did. I'm very excited about this new chapter that just started, and I really want to make you part of it. Originally, when starting the channel, I imagined it would be like following a part of my life where I'm trying to make games with no experience and with all its ups and downs along the way. But somehow drifted away from that idea and became just progress updates without much of me in it. It always felt like this channel is kind of in its own bubble, disconnected from the people watching, and that's something I wanted to fix for a long time. There were lots of moments where I wanted to share something either good or bad, but I could never find the right place for it. It felt like anything that wasn't purely about the game I was making at the time had no place to being on the channel. It even got to the point where I didn't want to talk about failing the train survival game because I thought it wouldn't be worth anyone's time. I'm still figuring out what kind of content I'll be making, but regardless, there are a couple of things that will be different this time. Most importantly, no more getting lost for 6 months just to finish the game and show it in one video. That was a big mistake I made both as a game developer and a content creator, so I'll never jump into full development without making sure the prototype is actually fun to play. Besides, it's very demotivating when you put months of efforts into a game you believe in and then the video ends up flopping. My current goal as a content creator is to come up with the formats I could produce in about a week of time that would be both fun to watch and also keep me on the track to becoming better at designing games. I don't have an idea of a major game I'd like to make right now, so no train survival like devlogs anytime soon. Instead, I want to experiment with other formats, like challenging myself to make one small prototype each week on a popular theme, or maybe some videos where I'll just play small indie games for the sake of learning from them. The goal is to become a better game developer, so at one point the devlogs will come back for sure. And who knows, maybe we'll solve the problems with games I failed to finish before. I'm also very open to suggestions for content that fits into this current approach, so feel free to leave your ideas in the comments below or hit me up on Discord. I really wish this gap didn't happen and I didn't stop uploading all this time, but I guess it's life and things happen. Once again, leave a like, comment or subscribe if you're new to this channel, and see you in the next one.